Hello there, everybody, and welcome once again to another episode of the Red Delta Project podcast, where we teach you how to maximize your results with minimalist diet and exercise strategies. My name is Matt Schifferly, founder of the Red Delta Project, author of several books, and today I've got a very big special treat for you. I've got Catherine Taylor here with me. She is the author and creator of Secrets of a Weight Loss Master. The reason why we're talking about today is because, as you know from the past several episodes, we've been diving deep into the possibility that getting in shape is so much more than just reps and sets and programs and macronutrients and stuff. There's a large subliminal emotional component to your success. And if we don't let this section go unchecked, then it basically undermines all of our progress. But if we become more aware of it, then it can take us to a whole nother level beyond what you can get with just the simple numbers game. So without further ado, Catherine, welcome to the Red Delta Project podcast.
Welcome, Matt. Hi, Matt. Thanks for having me. I'm very excited to be here. Yes, this is an area that I have specialized in for about 15 years because most people follow a diet for a while or work out for a while, but then they find that they're not successful or they can't keep the results that they've had. And this is because they have, ideas and emotions and beliefs going on that sabotage their success. So I'd like to go over a few of these today that really I see in my practice all the time. And the first one is really the idea that people have that they need to change everything at once instead of making slow, gradual changes that they can sustain over the long haul. They, try to make big sweeping changes and they just can't sustain it. And then they wind up reverting back to their old ways. So, and also another idea, which is in the same category, this is part of all or nothing, or what I call black and white thinking. People also think, well, they need to do it perfectly, or instead of fitting in movement and small changes, they tell themselves they have to exercise for an hour every day. And if they can't do that, they don't do anything. Instead of seeing, well, where could I fit in, some exercise or make small changes to their food, make better choices. But no, instead they'll say, oh, well, I ate a big lunch. I've kind of blown it today. I might as well just, keep eating. I'll start again tomorrow. And so that kind of thinking really sabotages their success. Also, being too goal-oriented and not focusing on the process or the journey. If you're too goal-focused, it can seem way too far away, especially if you have a lot of weight to lose, and you're robbing yourself of enjoying the day-to-day victories. And you might feel, because you're too goal-focused, you might feel like you're not doing enough because you're not rewarding yourself, and you're also not learning to enjoy the feelings of being healthy and fit. I've had clients come to me who have lost 100 pounds, and then as soon as they've reached that goal, they've just given everything up because that was the goal, losing 100 pounds. And then, of course, they gained it all back again and then some. So you really need to be focused on the process and learning to not just, the goal isn't just to lose weight, but it's to feel good, feel healthy, learn to enjoy movement, learn to enjoy healthier foods. Otherwise, after you reach your goal, then what? And you're just going to go right back to where you were. So, and then another thing is that, weight loss occurs in the context of a person's life. So it's so much more than calories in and calories out. I have a sheet that's called What Are You Hungry For? That I give clients, and it lists 18 different hungers that drives people's eating. And they're always so amazed that there are these different hungers. And so if you don't address all the different hungers that are driving you, then, a diet is simply not going to work. And of course, a major one here, since we're talking about the emotional side of weight loss, is emotional hunger. And that's when we're hungry for emotional nourishment and we translate this into overeating. We might confuse food with love, or maybe we need human connection. We're lonely. We need some love, nurturance, caring, maybe companionship. And so no amount of overeating is really going to satisfy what we're really wanting in this instance. So this really requires us to learn how to nurture ourselves and getting our needs met in a healthier manner. And also another type of hunger is social hunger. We're hungry often for social connection. Maybe we're lonely, lack friendships, sense of community. Many people today feel very isolated and apart, and so this can drive the eating. Then there's also a spiritual hunger, which is experienced as a deep emptiness inside. Many people overeat because they have an emptiness that they feel. And no amount of food can fill this hole. This is a large hole inside of us that needs to be filled by a sense of something bigger than ourselves, or our true self, a higher power, or God. All humans have a hunger for self-actualization. And so it's important to have a spiritual practice that we can become filled with our own inner presence, so to speak. And so anyway, there are many different hungers. There's even a body hunger, which is a hunger to connect with our physical self. Most of us live in our heads, and so we feel disconnected, and we ignore our body's need for attention and care. And we may have a hunger for touch, sex, or movement. And so this is another type of hunger. And, also how we approach our body. If we're too much in our head, then we look at the body as an object. And this is also can be a very destructive way of approaching weight loss, because when we have, or fitness, because when we see our body as something external and we're not integrated in a mind, body, spirit way, we want to just we see our body as a machine, and we're just going to want to ride roughshod over it, and we objectify it, and that creates a lot of unhappiness. And so it's important to fully inhabit ourselves with some grounding practices and such, so that we feel like our body and ourself, that we're a team. Instead of what happens is when people are overweight, they often view their body as the enemy. And so that's an adversarial approach to the body, and that backfires.
I've seen that one happen quite a bit, where people just kind of treat themselves as like, okay, I'm just going to try and hammer myself into shape, like as if they're supposed to pound their muscles into the shape they want, or pound away the fat. I've heard even some fitness experts out there saying, like, you have to remember your body's the enemy, your body hates you, it's going to like try and fight you every step of the way. And admittedly, there was a time when I used to kind of take that approach too, but boy, what a detrimental way to look at yourself. I mean, if you're fighting yourself all the time and you're the enemy, how can you possibly win?
Right. It creates a divided self, which creates a lot of conflict. It creates a lot of self-loathing, and it creates a dialogue that's very detrimental. And yet, you're right. It's that kind of attitude has been really prevalent in fitness, but it's starting to shift.
What is it shifting to? Where are we going with this?
Well, we're developing a much more integrated approach these days, because I think that because of the rise of yoga and things like that people have become much more aware that it's really not good to be pitting yourself against your body. and that it needs to be a much more integrated approach. And that also is what happens with eating disorders. People feel that the body is the enemy. And so, a big approach with any person that has an eating disorder, and I've recovered from an eating disorder years ago, is that you need to learn to embrace your whole self and embrace your body.
Now, does this also feed into that all or nothing and perfectionism mindset that you were talking about earlier?
Yes, it does. A lot of people who have this type of mindset are also perfectionists. And so, that they're going for trying to get the body to look, to be perfect. And it's really an unobtainable goal. I mean, the body's constantly changing. So even if you do manage to get it to look perfect for a little while, it's going to change on you.
Isn't that the truth? I think tell me if I'm off base on this one, but one of the attitudes that I've started to adopt is that it's impossible to completely have full control over one's body. It's like anything else in nature. We can't control a river. We can't control the grass on our lawn or something, but we can influence it. We can learn to appreciate it, and we can relate to it in a better way so that we can harness it and use it in a much more healthy way. But to say we're trying to fully control it is an impossible thing. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, absolutely. You can't control the body. And, the body ages, it gets sick, it dies eventually. It's really on loan to us. And, I like the idea of instead of seeing yourself as a body, which a lot of people do, see yourself as a soul with a body. And the body is just a vehicle for your spirit. And we want to be able to take good care of it so it serves us well. But it ultimately, it's like a car. It does break down, and so it's important that we do take good care. But it's not us. And when we start thinking it's us, then it causes a lot of unhealthy. It's just unhealthy because we feel betrayed when the body starts to do things that we can't control. But that is the body. I mean, there's no way we can truly control it. I mean, we've got a million processes going on every day that are out of our control. Our breathing, our digestive system, all kinds of things going on there.
So if we kind of made peace with that one aspect, that we can't necessarily fully control our body, but we can understand it, we can appreciate it, we can come to it with a more positive place, is that going to help to sort of dismantle and erode a lot of the fear and the judgments and the negative stuff that's driving a lot of our behaviors of self-sabotage?
Yes, and we need to assist the body, and so we want it to be, our body is a friend because it's serving us. Without it, it's like the best friend we have. It's there when we come into the world, we come into this body, and it's going to be there when we leave this earth. So we need to make peace with it, and obviously, to have a quality life, we need to be able to really take good care of the body because, if the body isn't in good shape or we're not in good health, our quality of life, it goes way down.
I definitely found that's especially the case because with exercise and everything, that's important and stuff. I found that making peace with food and eating habits and what they do with the body and how we relate to that, I found that had a much bigger impact on my quality of day-to-day life than getting even stronger or being able to kick or run faster. But being able to use healthy food in a healthy way and have this emotional peace with food had a much bigger impact on my personal quality of life and in my health in general. Is that kind of what you've seen as well?
Yeah, I do. Because, when we make peace with our body and ourselves and we're fully inhabiting life in this present moment, which is what mindfulness is about, the present moment is the only moment we have to live. And if we're fully inhabiting ourselves by inhabiting our body fully, then our quality of life goes way, way up.
Wow.
We're not spending time in our heads, loathing ourselves. And as you say, if you're really strong, well, that will only get you so far. But a lot of people spend an amazing amount of psychic energy with, not enjoying their body, having a dialogue about how inferior it is, that they need to be doing this and that. They're obsessing about diets and food. And yeah, it takes a tremendous amount of psychic energy.
I found it to be a tremendous relief when I started to be able to release some of this negative energy. I would only liken it to someone who supposedly, like, they just retired or they won the lottery or something, like, oh great, I don't have to work anymore. That's kind of how I felt about it. It's like so much of my energy every single day was pouring into this thing, and I believe that was what it was necessary. I totally bought into this idea of this is where you should put so much of your effort and your energy, and it's supposed to be this hard, and it's supposed to be a daily battle and a struggle to the death every single time. And it was a very self-righteous thing, but when I was able to release all of that, it was like, it's so good to not have to really worry about this stuff anymore. And not that it happened overnight, of course, but I really do believe it was one of the most important things I had done for my own health and well-being in general. And it goes way beyond, well, if I just lose weight, I'll be healthier. It's being healthier about the whole process on an emotional level.
Yeah, and that's why I always tell people they need to focus on the journey and this process, and that losing weight can be a doorway to a much more fulfilling life on all levels if you look at it in this context of trying to be, what underlies the desire to lose weight is often a desire to be happier, to have peace. When people say they want to lose weight, when I question them deeper down, these are the real reasons. Okay, and that it's also an impulse to self-actualize, to become more than who they are now. And so, but in order to have these things, it's not just about losing weight. It's about, addressing their beliefs, their attitudes, and the beliefs and attitudes that they have around food are just a mirror of the beliefs and attitudes they have about their whole life. You eat how you are, and that's why my tagline is how you do food is how you do life.
So if we're looking at this thing like, okay, once I lose weight, then I'll be happy, and if I can fight myself and I can fight food and I can fight my emotions and fight and struggle, I'll reach this point when you're goal focused and believing that once you reach that goal, it's going to be all good. But it's actually the reverse is true, is that using a more positive emotional base in how you relate to yourself and relate to the process and stuff, the goal is more like just a consequence or a side effect almost, and the actual process is the thing that gets you that self-actualization and happiness that you're after, not necessarily reaching the goal.
Right. The path is the goal.
I like it. This is really starting to make so much more sense because we hear these platitudes all the time of enjoy the journey, it's a journey, not a destination, but we're starting to now really look at, well, this is why that's the case. This is how it works on a practical level rather than just seeing something as a fortune cookie advice on social media and just scrolling through it, and it doesn't really impact us.
Right. Yes.
Wow.
So, the attitude that we have and how we approach this is really, it's really everything. And as you say, I mean, I always try to tell people who work with me that weight loss is just the end result of all the work that we're doing.
Now,
and it's not really the goal.
right. So let's say I'm in this place where I'm not happy with my body. I'm not happy with my process. I want to be on this journey and be more positive about it. What would be the first couple of things that I can start to do to put that front foot forward?
The first thing would be just really starting to become aware of the story that you're telling yourself about why you can't have this thing. Because there's always a story going on in your mind, and you need to really listen to yourself and get hip to the lies and excuses and the limiting beliefs that are going on that are keeping you from being successful.
So if I start to identify some of these patterns and some of these stories that I'm telling myself, what can I do then with that information?
Well, you need to really ask yourself, are they really true? And see if they're not, then you need to be able to, you need to look at, well, if I've been telling myself this story, okay, where's the evidence that it's true? And make a list of where's the evidence that it's not true.
So we're basically challenging our own emotionally held beliefs in order to replace them with something more positive in the future?
Right.
That's a good one. So it's not so much that we're just trying to fight things or disprove things, but we're trying to adopt something on a higher level, something that's more positive, that's going to serve us better in the long run.
Right. And really, just from this talk, if you see yourself in any of these areas that I've mentioned, well, then this is where you need to really look at and inquire into, okay, what could I adopt? How could I change this to something that's going to work better for me?
Wow.
And often people need help. They need coaching because it's not easy to do this on your own. Okay, we all get immersed into a way of thinking, and we all have blind spots, and we can't often see these blind spots. That's why coaching helps, because it gives people, and here comes another person with a fresh perspective, and helps you to see new possibilities for yourself.
Yeah.
Often people can't see that on their own.
It's fascinating how watching the fitness culture these days when it comes to this sort of thing, I found that a lot of more people are offering, like yourself, like coaching services and things to help people. But I've found that one of the more dangerous attitudes that's in society these days is people like, well, I've got the internet and I've got YouTube videos and stuff. I should be able to figure this out on my own. And
Right.
I had someone once tell me, they said, Matt, I don't believe in paying anybody for information that I can figure out on my own. And I can't think of anything that could be potentially more detrimental, because my own experience was that, yeah, maybe you can figure it out on your own, but it's going to cost you vastly more time than you think. Like, you could have this stuff largely figured out and be on the right track like a fraction of the time. But if you're trying to do it on your own, it could be years and you're still not where you want to be.
Well, the typical client of mine comes to me and they have the equivalent of a PhD in nutrition and weight loss, and all that information hasn't helped them.
Because it's superficial
they've
stuff.
Numerous programs, read so many books, and they haven't been able to figure it out on their own, and often they're in their 50s, 60s, even 70s, and it's taken them that long to really admit, well, you know what, I've not been able to figure this out.
Oh my gosh.
I'm still struggling with this issue, and my life has gone by. So yeah, this is why, do you really want to do that, spend the rest of your life trying to figure something out? I mean, if you could, you would have already.
Yeah, that's one of my biggest fears in life, especially as I'm getting older. It's like, what am I going to learn in the next year that's going to make such a big difference in my attitude and my health and my fitness and my lifestyle? But part of me is going to be like, great, this is so great. I'm glad I learned this. But it's like, oh man, if I had known this 20 years ago, like how much better my life would have been. And when you say, no, I'm not going to get coaching, no, I don't want it, I'm just going to figure it out on my own, that's essentially what you're doing, is you're setting yourself up for that sort of scenario.
Right. Yeah. Well, and I mean, the older I get, I realize that the less I know in many ways, and that, you can't figure it all out, and you need to, I am very guilty of that. I love to figure things out, but yes, it can take a whole lifetime in order to do that.
Yeah. And you're still missing pieces.
Yes.
You're still going to be missing parts.
None of us get and we all, as I said, we all have these emotional blind spots, and many of us we don't see ourselves clearly, and that's why we need another person to really, I mean, I've been doing this work for 15 years. I can, as soon as people start talking, I mean, I can just hone in and figure out the crux of the matter very quickly, because I've heard the stories over and over and over again.
Boy, yeah, I'm so relating to this right now, because when you're looking at, you want to make progress and stuff, your beliefs are such a powerful influence. I mean, we are essentially a reflection of our beliefs, but the challenge with that is our beliefs feel like that's reality, like that's real.
Absolutely.
And if we can't challenge our reality, then we'll never change.
Right. Behavior follows belief. That's really important to understand that. And so in order to change behavior, you need to change belief. That is the root of it right there. And our beliefs form our reality. They're the building blocks of reality. And most of us have distorted and limiting beliefs, and we believe that that's real.
So even if you learned the new information and the latest scientific research and all the stuff to know about diet and exercise and all that stuff, if your beliefs don't change, what chance do you have of actually changing?
Right. You don't.
Oh my gosh.
And that's why that's the focus of my work, to really look at and change those self-limiting beliefs, because otherwise you're just putting a Band-Aid on the problem.
So awesome. Oh my gosh, this is so great, Catherine. Thank you so much. So where can people find out more about what you're doing? And you've got your website, Secrets of a Weight Loss Master. Coming up on September 18th, you've got the new workshop of How You Do Food is How You Do Life workshop. That's coming up next Wednesday, correct?
Yeah, that's the 18th. And that really, in that course, it's very comprehensive mind, body, spirit approach to weight loss. And we look at your attitudes and the self-limiting beliefs. We look at self-love, self-esteem, really integrating the body, meditation. It's a real comprehensive mind-body approach to this issue.
Fantastic. Very good. And for those listening, I'll have the audio, of course, on reddeltaproject.com. I'll have links to everything that we're talking about there as well. If you're listening here on YouTube, there's links and information down in the description and stuff. Catherine, send us off with some great pieces of information. What are your top tips? People have been listening to this and they're like, great, okay, I'm going to check out Catherine's stuff. But what can I do today to start moving the ball forward?
Well, the most courageous thing that you can do today is decide that you are going to be happy right now, not after you lose the weight. You can't hate your way into a better body. So self-love and self-acceptance create the soil of self-transformation. And you should ask yourself each day, what am I going to do today to show love and care for myself? Because self-love isn't just warm, fuzzy feelings about yourself. It's really, self-care is a verb. Self-love is a verb. How you treat yourself reveals all. So, it's revealed in your self-talk, how you pay attention to and care for yourself, and are you neglecting, criticizing, tearing yourself down, or are you building yourself up with kind, encouraging thoughts, words, and deeds? So it's a choice. And so if you can just say each day, what can I do to make myself feel better today? What can I do for my health today? And then choose something that's life-affirming and self-nurturing, because esteemable acts build self-esteem. It's as simple as that. And that builds momentum. When you feel good, you're doing these things, and you're starting to feel like, oh, I'm doing something, and it's working. Then you can build on that, and you develop a momentum.
Wow. Perfect. Love it. Thank you so much, Catherine, for being on this episode of the Red Delta Project podcast. I certainly learned a lot. Everybody, please, once again, check out Catherine's stuff. secretsofaweight-loss-master.com. Sign up for the newsletter. She sends it out all the time. I get it myself, always full of great tidbits, a fantastic read, and a great thing for kind of putting your mind and body on the right track every single week. Catherine, thank you so much, and it was a sincere pleasure talking to you today.
Yes, thank you, Matt. Always enjoy it.
All right, everybody. Once again, comments, thoughts, questions down below in the comments if you're on YouTube. Again, check out reddeltaproject.com for further links and information. I'll talk to you folks next week. Till then, be fit, live free.